So I'm hoping you're all able to see my OneNote screen. What I'll do in the beginning is I'll discuss in a top-down approach what is a chatbot and what is basic concepts of ML and neural networks without actually going deeper into it, without introducing mathematics or anything, because that understanding is needed before we actually go to the Python script and execute it. Okay. So first I'll introduce that, and then we will go to Google Colab and run the program and build a chatbot. And maybe it will take 1 hour for completing to showcase the demo. And after that, we'll try to do in your systems, okay? Each and everything, installations, all those things. Okay. So coming to chatbots, what is a chatbot? We all have seen, as I was saying just now, in every website we are having chatbots. It just simplifies our work or gives some information for a new user who is not new to that particular environment. So that can be a basic chatbot which can respond to the already predefined questions and answers. Okay, you can just keep a if condition that itself will answer few questions, but that is not smart chatbot. If you want to build a smart chatbot, you need to use some concepts of neural networks so that it actually behaves like human. It interacts like a human. See, when you first saw the chatbot, you might have surprised whether is there a human behind that who is answering, or yeah, you can go. Did anyone has got surprised that way, or did you already know that it's a complete machine? We all got surprised, right? When we first time interact in a bot, we felt like there is a human behind this bot who is answering the questions which we are asking. Suppose if you ask, say hi or how are you, we felt that there is some person who is sitting beside the bot and trying to answer. We get that feel. But if you ask tough questions and if it is not able to answer that question, that means that this is an artificial bot. It's not a human. So our goal is to kind of make a bot which looks as humanly as possible. A new user should be able to not distinguish between whether it's an artificial bot or a human bot. He should feel that it is a human bot. Okay, so let us see how we can build it. So before that, I want to introduce few concepts of what happens in a neural network, or what do you mean by learning. We are all calling this is the course artificial intelligence, right? What is intelligence? We need to understand these terms, and what we also need to understand what do you mean by learning, and then we will go to the chatbots and understand how we can make a bot smart. Okay. If there is anything unclear, or if the audio is not clear, students who are in online, just interrupt me and let me know so that I'll clear that. Okay. So first, let us start with the concept of learning. Okay. When we are saying a human to learn something, it's not memorizing, right? It's not memorizing. We are not memorizing something. Learning means we are actually making the system to understand certain things without explicitly being programmed. You are not explicitly being programmed. In a normal system, a non-intelligent system or an information system, you can call it. It is just about you have a input, you have a program. This program will take the inputs and it will deliver an output. It can be anything. You can just put an simple if condition, give an input, and it will give you the output. That is a conventional system. Whereas an intelligent system, when we are saying intelligence, a system which can learn for itself, will take both input and also some reference outputs, and it will try to adjust itself and learn what is the relation between this input and output. It is somewhat similar to what you have studied in signal sense system or signal processing. You have a system. Okay, you study different types of systems, right? LTI system, all those, something similar. But what we are trying to do is we want to learn the parameters of the system. Okay, so a basic difference between a normal information system and an intelligent system. I'll just show it to you how it looks like. Yeah, in the information system, you will have input, and you have a program, or you can say this is a program. Yeah, what you get is output. Students, are you able to see online? Can one student reply what? Are you able to see the content which
Yes,
I'm
sir. Yes,
writing?
sir.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
And this is a normal information system, okay? Information system, which take input and you gave a program to it based on the conditions or the program, the way you have written, it will respond automatically to the input. Whereas an intelligent system, what we are actually trying to do, you should not talk, okay? You have input and you have output. What you want is you want to learn, you want to make this system to learn. This is a system, right? This is a system. And you want to learn in intelligent, this is an intelligent system, okay? So what you get is you get a program out of it. When I say program, this is a more generic word, but what we actually find out is weights of the models. You have internally this system model, and what you are trying to learn in an intelligent system is the parameters of the model, okay? If you take any intelligent system, this is what we are actually doing. More specifically, this is called as a supervised way of learning because you are giving both input and output together. But there are other ways also to do it just by giving input and trying to learn the system. But more commonly, what we see is we have an input and we have an output. I'll discuss what is an input and what is an output when we go to a chatbot or any other application, speech-based application or a vision-based application. But in a common intelligence, in a general intelligence system, what we are actually doing is we are giving an input and an output, and we are trying to learn the system. Or it's like you have been, it's like we humans also do the same thing. You take a small kid, he will be given some input and he will say that, we will also say that this is this. You will show something and you will say that this is apple, and he'll try to learn that, okay, this is apple. What is happening is that is a biological thing, but what we are trying to do here is an artificial learning or artificial intelligence. We want to capture that. So we need input, we need output, and we need to learn the program, or we need to learn the weights of the model, okay? So I'll go deeper into it when we come to CIVO4, when I discuss artificial neural networks, and yes, partly in CIVO3. But now what I will discuss is specific to chatbots. What is an input, what is an output, and how we are how we are trying to learn this, okay? So coming to the any system, you take, when we say a artificially intelligent system, or you take a normal human being, what do we do? We take input through our sensors like eyes or ears or various other sensors. We take that input and we kind of respond to it, and we also learn from the based on input, right? So the same thing here, we have been given input and output, and we have to find out the program or the model parameters. So in the specific case of chatbot, what is an input? The input is text, okay? Suppose if you are working with a speech-based application, the input would be speech. And since you can't work with the raw speech, the recorded speech, which is like huge number of samples per second, by this time you might have got aware of the sampling frequency, all this terminology. When you record a voice, and if you're sampling with say 16,000 samples per second, that means for every second you have a 16,000 sample on the raw data, which is hard to work. It's huge computational complexity. That is why you study all this signal processing, speech signal processing, to reduce that dimensionality to a finite number of say 100 cross 1 vector, something like that. The whole information is being captured into a small vector. That is where all this domain specific expertise is needed, speech or the vision. So there are basically three modalities. One is text. There are other modalities, but prominently there are three. One is text, the other is speech, the other is vision, or the images, or you can call videos. So when people develop systems, most probably they choose one of these modalities and develop the systems. And for the chatbots, we are relying on text. We will be taking text as an input, and we will be learning the system in the beginning, and then we will also test the chatbot. So in any intelligent system, or in any neural networks, or you take even call it as machine learning system, we have two stages. First is the training stage. Second is the testing stage. Okay, in the training stage, you will make the system to learn for itself. In the testing stage, you see how well the system is performing. So in the training stage, you give both input and output, especially in a supervised way of learning. You give both input and output, and you will try to learn the system. And in the testing stage, you only give the input and you ask the system, because by that time you have already found out the weights or the program. So you ask the system to respond to the new test input. So there are two stages. I'll just write it here. A training stage, where you give kind of input and output is given. Okay, what you find is the weights. Okay, and in the testing stage, you give input and what you expect is output. In the training stage, what you expect is program or weights of model. You can say this way. Okay, this is testing stage and this is training stage. There are two stages. In the training stage, in a supervised learning setting, you give both input and output, and you want to get the model parameters. What are these model parameters? When I discuss CO4, you will come to understand how does a neural network look like. This is a kind of top-down approach. So since if I wait until CO4 for you to decide the project, you'll not do anything. So I want to avoid that and just introduce you the basic concept of neural networks in a top-down way, so that you can start building bots and complete your project successfully. Okay, so that is why I'm introducing this. So we have a training stage and we have testing stage. In the training stage, we will be giving both input and output, and we expect the model to learn itself. That means to compute the weights. Okay, in the testing stage, you will give a new input and you want to get the what the relevant output. I'll give some example. For example, you take the speech application. You are building a system which can recognize whether you have spoken yes or no. Okay, the inputs can be yes or no. So when you speak during the training stage, you give the audio file. When you say yes, it is taking around 1 to 2 seconds, right? You record each and every file and you convert into low dimension by using signal processing. Okay, say 100x1. So you have a 100x1 speech vector, yes voice. You have a 100x1 no voice. Both you have, and you have a number of iterations. Say there are hundreds of students in this class. I'll take recordings of every student. I'll take recording of yes and recording of no from every student. Everyone will have a different vocal tract, so you have a different sound coming from your, and the recorded wave files are not similar. They sound different. Okay, and so what you try to do is you give, along with the file, you give the label of it, because you know that by listening you are able to identify that whether it is an yes or no, but system doesn't know, right? So during the training stage, you give the audio file or the 100x1 vector, and its associated label saying that this vector is yes. Okay, so there is an input and there is a label. Label is the output. Okay, what we are actually doing here is a kind of classification task. We want to classify whether the spoken word is an yes or a spoken word is a no. Okay, so in order to classify that, you need, since it's a classification task, the output is discrete. Like it can fall into two classes based on the application which you are tackling. If it is an yes or no classification, it would be two classes. If it is, say, you want to recognize numerals, it would be 1 to 0. So there would be 10 classes. If it is an alphabet recognition, it would be 26 classes. Based on how many, if you want to recognize all the objects in this room, say there are 100 objects, there is a fan, there is a table, there is a TV, there is a laptop. Each one is a class, each one is a kind of class, and you have a label associated with it. So if you take this small application of yes or no, there are two classes, there are two outputs. So any input which you give, it has to identify whether it is an yes or whether it is a no. Okay, that is the classification task which we are trying to see. I'm trying to introduce the basics of neural network with this application, but when we go to the chatbot, the similar concept will be applied in a different way. So this yes or no way of classifying is easier to understand. So now you have, I said that there are two stages, which is training stage and the testing stage. In the training stage, you give both input and its associated labels. That means you give S wave file or the 100x1 vector along with it a label saying that this particular vector is a S file, because computer doesn't know. By seeing the numbers, it can't find out. So you have to give the label for it. So now, since your class strength is say 100, I think, so I take all 100 yes and no audio files, and I'll say that this is the S and this is a no. So I have 100 S files and 100 no files. Okay. Now I give to my system and I ask it to learn for itself. I'll discuss how the learning happens in CO4, and there are other advanced courses like machine learning. You will learn much more details of it. And also in the speech processing, you will study different models like hidden Markov model, which is also a method to learn the system. So you give these inputs, you give corresponding labels to the system to learn the parameters of the system. Okay, this is during the training stage. And during the testing stage, you give just a new input. Now these are the 100 people for which I have done the training. Now I am not part of your class, so I haven't recorded my voice. Now I am a test aspirant. I'll record my voice and I'll give to the system. It has to classify whether it is an yes or a no. You're able to understand, right, students? Are you able to understand, students who are in online? Are they? Can someone respond from online?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If something is unclear, if there is any noise, just let me know. Okay. So the task is this. So when it is a simple yes or no classification, you need, there are two stages, training and testing stage. In the training stage, you need both input and its output so that you can learn the model parameters. And during the testing stage, you give an input so that it will classify into one of these classes. So during the testing stage, you have the output as a label. It will say whether it is an yes or a no. If it is a numeral recognition, it will say whether it's a 0 or 1 or 2 or 9 and so on, 9. But as an alphabet recognition, it will find out whether it's a this. If it is an object recognition, it will find out whether it's a fan or a TV, or whether it is so and so table, laptop, or based on the task, based on how you have trained your model, based on that, it can do the appropriate task. Okay. It is nearly like human, right? We human know how to recognize each object because we learned, but system is also able to do. See, earlier information systems were something like this. There is a hard-coded program, and you give an input, it will give you the output. But the intelligent system is able to learn for itself. You give a number of different variations of yes, still it is able to summarize the data and trying to capture the key details of it and trying to say yes when you give a new input. So it is able to do that. So it's different to a normal information system. So this is an intelligent system. It is somewhat smart in identifying even if it is not similar. So if even if the input is slightly different, it is still able to recognize whether it's an yes or no. Okay, so this is the difference between an intelligent and information system. So I've also discussed training and testing stage using this SR-No application. Now let us go to chatbots and see what is a chatbot and what is the training stage, what are input and output in a training, okay, and what happens during the testing stage. Okay, a simple question, like what is an input? Can anyone guess what is an input in a chatbot? Question, or it can be the modality is text, right? We are working on the text modality, but is it a word, or can it also be a sequence of words? Sequence of words, right? So a person who is interacting with the bot, he will just type a sequence of words and he expects a response from the bot. And our goal is to make a bot as intelligent as possible. It should look like there is a human which is speaking to us. Our goal is to make such a bot, and it is indeed possible to make that. Okay, so yeah, now you understood that the input during the training stage is a sequence of words, but computer doesn't know how to process with the words. It only knows zeros and ones. In order to convert something into zeros and ones, you need to convert everything into numbers. And we humans are also very much, we can quantify or we can measure something in numbers and not in alphabets. So we need to convert this sequence of words into numbers first. Okay, and we also know not all the time we will use the same number of words. When I say hi, it is just one word. When I say how are you, I'm using 3 words. So there is no consistency of the number of words what the speaker will ask. So, but our system or neural networks will work with a consistent number of length of the input. So we need to standardize the input. That means whether you speak it a 1 word or a 3 words, you have to make it as maximum as possible so that it can accommodate all the sequence of words. Say I'll consider the maximum length as 20. Okay, I'll consider my maximum length as 20. What I do is, the first position is for how many ever words you have spoken, I'll introduce those, and the rest of all will be zeros. It's like a zero padding which you study in signals and system and signal processing. Yeah, you can switch off that, it could be noisy. So I'll show it to you how the zero padding, all those things happen. But so what we have understood is we can convert, our text has to be converted into a sequence of numbers before it actually being passed to the neural networks or the neural network system. Okay, I hope till now it is clear to everyone. And as I was saying earlier, in the training stage, not only input, you also have the output. You should give the output, which means you are also trying to give the labels. Okay, suppose if you have spoken hi, okay, hi is a word, it has to be assigned a label. Okay, if you are speaking how are you, how is a word, it has to be given a label. R has to be given a label, U has to be given a label, each distinct word has to be given a label. And there are plenty of different ways to code into numbers, bringing it to numbers. Okay, we are not working into natural language processing. Okay, there is a whole lot of big domain called as natural language processing, okay, in AI. And there are very good opportunities for someone who is actually interested to kind of learn or go deeper into it. And there are good opportunities in the big companies, multinational companies. So if you are interested, you can always take this as a kind of baseline and work on, go deeper into it and understand it. You will have good opportunities. Okay, coming back to the system, coming back to the chatbots. So we have understood what is an input in the training stage. Now we have also understood what is label and what is a output which we are giving during the training stage. So the labels are, suppose you have a how are you are saying that, suppose if you have assigned how as 1 and R as 2 and U as 3, you will assign these labels saying that this particular word is how, this particular word is R. I'll show it to you, it will make much more clear. So during the training stage, you give input and its associated labels to the system, and the system will learn for itself. It's very easy to say, but when you actually learn the neural networks, you'll really appreciate how it is able to learn. Okay, many of the CEOs and many managers nowadays in multinational, every company, they are speaking of learning, intelligence, all these big terms, big jargon, without actually knowing how it is happening. Many people actually doesn't know, but still they speak of that. So we are all engineers, so we should not be fall prey to the same situation. By the end of this semester, you should know what it is, what it means to learn, and what it means to be intelligent. Okay, so that I'll discuss when it is CO4, when it comes to a CO4. But now what we'll assume is we have a black box. If you give input and output, it can learn for itself. Okay, and during the testing stage, if you give a text input, it will give you the output based on the class it belongs to. How many have got this point which I've said? Can you raise your hands once? Or how many did not understand? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many did not understand, students? Is there anyone in the online who hasn't understood? Okay, I can't see it. Okay. Anyways, I'll repeat it once again. So our goal is to make a chatbot, an intelligent chatbot, not a normal chatbot. So in order to make an intelligent chatbot, it needs to answer for the questions which are not there as part of the chatbot. So during that, so in order to do an intelligent chatbot, we have a training stage and a testing stage. During the training stage, we need to give inputs and its output and make the system to learn. And during the testing stage, you give a new input and it has to give the appropriate response to it. Okay. So with this basic understanding, now let us actually go to the program and see how you can build a chatbot. Okay. Many of the terms would be kind of new, and also further depth is needed, but assume that it's a black box as of now. Okay, you have a 1 semester, you can explore. You have a whole 3 years. If you are interested, you can also explore more deeper into it. Okay, so let us go to the Google Colab, and I'll explain to you through Google Colab. Yeah, students, are you able to see my screen? Those who are in online, can someone respond?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if something is unclear, just let me know, because there is offline and there is online students, so there is a chance for confusion. And if you talk, your friends will not be able to hear it. Okay, so you need to be calm here. So till now we have understood what is a basic understanding of a machine learning system or a intelligent system, how to build an basic concepts without actually going deeper into it. So now let us see how we can build chatbot, and whatever concepts I have said just now, let us see it in the actual code, and you can explore it later, the other things. So is the font visible to everyone? Everyone has to, the last guy, are you able to see the font? No? Okay, what? It's not visible. Okay. What I'll do is I'll just change the. Okay, I've just used my maximum font size. I think I can't go beyond that. What I'll do is I'll share this file to you. Okay. Or yeah, give me a minute. I'll just share this. So I'll just send this file. You can open in your system, those who are staying in the backsides. Okay. And those who are online, I'm hoping that you are able to see this. So there is there are two codes. One is training and the other is the actual chatbot. So what I'll do is I'll just discuss the main concepts which I have till now have discussed to you through this program without actually going deeper into it. Okay. And we can always explore that later stage. Okay. So there are a number of packages which you need. Famously, we need, see, neural networks, all those we don't implement from the scratch even now. There are good toolbox from Google, which is called as TensorFlow. There is a toolbox from Facebook, which is called as PyTorch. There are plenty of such neural network packages where you can use them to implement it. Okay, we will be using TensorFlow is quite famous, so I'll be using TensorFlow here. So let me run this. So there are a number of packages which I'm loading. You can see this. So let us go step by step. I'm just running the first cell. So what is the time exactly? 9. Okay, we have still 1 hour. So within 5 or 10 minutes, I'll show you the output, and the rest of the class we'll try to build in your systems. Okay, whatever are necessary things which are needed. Even if it is not completing today, I want everyone to explore those, especially those students who doesn't have a idea of project. I want everyone to come up with your bot. This is the utmost thing which we can do. I mean, like, it's like spoon feeding. You just need to swallow it. Okay, don't ask me to put into your digestive system. So just swallow it. Okay. Yeah. So before that, before I actually go, I need to discuss about intents. Okay. Let me first load this. I don't have that file here. So let me load this file called intents. So first, before going there, we need to understand what are training sentences, what are labels, and how do we give it to the system. So we have a file called as intents. This is where we give all the training sentences with its associated labels. Okay, let me open that file and I'll show it to you. Give me a minute. Students, are you all able to see this file, or should I need to increase the font? So let me take some time. Let me edit, change this font size so that you can all see this. Okay, I think I can just zoom this way. Is it visible to the last students now? Okay, it's visible, right? So let us discuss, students, those who are in online, I'm hoping that you are all able to see my screen. Can someone reply?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is an intent file. To develop any chatbot, we need this intent file. This is needed during the training stage, and also it is needed during the testing stage. As you can see here, there are tags, there are patterns, there are responses. Forget about responses, because the responses are needed only during the testing stage. During the training stage, you need tags and the patterns. As I was saying earlier, you are in a supervisor or to develop any intelligent system, or during the training stage, you need to give input and its associated labels or the output. So tags are labels, patterns are inputs, and I was saying also the input can be of any number of words. So as you can see here, a greeting category, there is a category called greeting. Under these are the following sentences which we have: hi or hey, because this is how a user who is using the chatbot will interact with the bot. Okay, he'll say what is the first thing which we say? We say hi, right, to anyone. So even to the chatbot we say hi, we say who are you or how are you. We ask these questions, common questions, and it has to respond to us. And even if the question is not part of the training sentences, it has to respond to it. Only then it is called as a smart bot or an intelligent bot. Okay, so you have this set of training sentences. Here I'm only showing these 5 categories, but if you are really interested in building a bot, this file should be kind of very big. And most of the tasks for those students who have chosen to build a bot, they will be working on only on this, because the rest of the things are all black box. If you're exploring, you can do a lot of things, but if you're not exploring, it is like a black box. You would be mostly working with this intent file. So these patterns are what the training sentences. Okay, and there are different ways of asking questions, but they all fall under the same category, and all those together are kept under a category, and that is what we call here as tag, but in the machine learning or the neural network terminology, we call it as labels. Okay, because, or you can call it as output. So you give both the labels or the output and the training sentences to the system, and you want the system to learn its parameters. Okay, you give these training sentences, you give what category or what tag it belongs to. Both the things you give it to the system, and system has to learn its parameters. The more and more training sentences you give it, it learns better. Okay, so how well you design this intents file will kind of make your bot look smarter. Because it's not about choosing some random sentences. You have to carefully think about how a user interacts with the bot, and what should be the connection, and what category it should fall into, and what should be, if a new question comes, how should it respond to. There are plenty of things. Okay, so in a basic bot which we are trying to build now, we need these training sentences and we need the labels in the training stage. During the testing stage, that means when a bot is being used by the user, a new user, at that time he would ask a question, and it might not be as part of these questions which are already given here. Okay, but still it has to identify the category. It has to say, if I'm saying like hey, suppose if you are saying together hello and hey together, you are saying, it has to identify that, okay, this is something related to greetings. And why do we need to identify it belongs to greetings? Once it identifies the tag, okay, once it identifies the test sentence, a tag, what it does is it will pick one sentence from this randomly. If I keep on ask you the question hi, and if I am responding it to hi, it's kind of monotonic, or it's kind of robotic. If it is responding in different ways each time, it looks like little humanly. So what we actually do in the testing stage is pick randomly one sentence. Suppose now I'm typing hi, it will say hello. Next time if I type hi, among these responses, it will randomly pick one word. It's randomly picked. Then it looks more humanly, right? So it takes one of these words. Okay. So you have these there are here 5 categories. Okay, because there are 5 tags. You have a tag greetings, goodbye category, you have thanks category, you have about category, and you have name category. Belong to second year, easy. So you have to classify you have training sentences, and during the testing stage you have to categorize your sentence one among this class. Okay, so that is what is our job. Okay, now I hope how many were able to follow what I'm saying regarding this intent file? Can you raise your hands? Okay, everyone were able to follow. Anyone has any problem? Okay, I have a question in the chat box. Let me. Yeah, so everyone were able to follow it. So what we will do is, I'll show it to you how these training sentences will become converted into numbers. Okay, and how these numbers, a sequence or a vector, will be passed to the neural network as an input, and how the neural network will be training what are the parameters. Assume that you don't know anything, which I'll introduce anyway towards the end of this semester, and see and get the chat model. What you get out of this output of the training stage is a set of model files. You can just see it as a folder, but you need these folders to during the testing stage to actually use the model parameters and give the relevant responses. So let us go to the code and see the output or see how it works. I hope it is visible to everyone here. So I've just loaded, see, I haven't loaded intent file, so it was throwing out error here. So now I have given my intent file. So let me run this cell once again. Okay. Now we have this intent file, which I've just shown to you. Okay. And this is where you actually, see, you gave a file. It has to pick each and every word, sentence, right, from that file and say that this is a training example and this is the label. And this particular cell is trying to do this. What it is trying to do, there is a file called intents. It is opening that file, and since it's a JSON file, it will, and JSON is a nice format, so it can easily pick out the words or the sequence of words which are separated by commas. See, if you have observed, there is tag and there was a colon. Okay, there is a nice systematic way of writing, right? So we in Python can pick up each and every sequence of words from the category of pattern. Sakiran, you are talking. Doesn't look good. Okay. So as you can see here, for intents, in data of intents is a file. You are picking every pattern from the label. See, you might have observed these patterns in the intents file, right? There was a tag, there was patterns, there was responses. These are the 3 things which you had. And it is from this patterns category, it will be picking up each and every sequence of words. Okay, like hi or hey, how are you? All those they're all separated by commas. So when you are running this for loop, what is happening is each time it is picking up a sequence of words and it is saving it as a new input. Okay, and it also has an associated output. This is a training stage, right? So it also has an associated output, which is the tag. Suppose when I'm saying a hey or hello, it belongs to the category of greetings. Okay, so we know both the input and the output, and we are giving it to the system, and the system has to learn the parameters. And during the testing stage, we give a new sentence and it has to give the response to it. That is what is our job. Are you all able to understand this concept which I have said in the last 10 seconds? How the bots, the main idea of bots. The bots, there are 2 stages, training stage and testing stage. We defined in the intents file the patterns and the tag. Patterns are the training sentences or the inputs. Tags are the outputs or the labels, which we give both to the system. System has to learn its parameters, and during the testing stage, you have to give you will be giving a new sentence, which are not part of the actual database or the intent file. and it has to give the response to it. And that is how we say that the system is intelligent, or the smart chatbot. So we just now created the intents file. Now we extracting each and every pattern and saving it as a individual sequence of words and with its associated labels. So these two sentences, these two lines are trying to do that. Okay, it is trying to look for these patterns. It is also trying to look for the tag, and it is saving in the name called training_labels. And it is these sentences are saving under the name called training_sentences. So training_sentences will contain all the sequence of words, and training_labels contains its associated tags. Okay, until this everything is clear, right? Yeah. So now we got this. Now what is the thing? Let us see it. Let us see how it looks like. What are different students? Are you able to see these things? What I have plotted here is what I have displayed here is all the labels. See, if you have, I'll also display all the training sentences so that you can also see that. So print training underscore sentences. I hope you are all able to see this. The first word, the font is small. Let me, yeah. How about now? Is it visible? Yeah. The first word is hi. It belongs to the greetings label. The second word is hey. That is also belonging to the greetings label. So in this way, for all the words and sequence of words, we will also find out the corresponding labels. Okay, and these are all saved. As you can see in the 17th and 18th line, we printed the first one is training sentences, the second one is the training labels. So each of the sequence of words, the sequence of words as an associated label. Okay, and these two, training sentences, which is input, training labels, which are the outputs, we give it to the system, and the system has to learn its parameters. And during the testing stage, we will do the testing. That will come back later. Let us complete this training stage. Now we got the individual training sentences and its associated labels. Okay, let us, yeah. Here comes the actual NLP, or the natural language processing, which is going on. You have to, okay, I think this is nothing. The next cell is just, we are trying to, rather than having it in the form of words, we'll convert into numbers. So we have training labels, right? Labels is a category called greetings. It can be a good boy, it can be a thanks tag. All those categories I'm converting in terms of numbers. Since I have 5 tags, I can just number as 0 to 5, 0 to 4. That would be the labels. As you can see here, so I'm just printing the training labels after it is being converted into numbers. How do you convert into numbers? Black box. Keep it as a black box. Okay. You have something called as label encoder, which will transform each and every tag into its associated numbers. Okay. But for now, we assume it as black box, and these are the labels. So this is the greetings category. Greetings category has been given label on number 2. And the other ones have been given as label 1, and so on. So there are 5 categories, 5 tags. So we have 5 labels, 5 numbers from 0 to 4. Is it clear until this point? Is it clear? Last, everything is clear, right? So, because why I'm explaining this is you have to build your bot, and that will have 20 marks. And I'm not going to give any excuse during evaluation. I want to see, and then I might ask questions. You need to give the right answers for it. So yeah, till now we have seen how different labels and how you can assign numbers to it. Now, as I was saying earlier, the training sentences can be of different size based on the sequence of words. When I'm saying hey, it is 1 word. When I'm saying how are you, there are 3 words, right? So, but our neural network model does not accept varying input. The standard neural network accepts only a fixed length of input. All the training sentences should be of fixed length. So what we are trying to do here is, irrespective of what is the size of sequence of words, we try to standardize into a one size. And you can't use a small because sometimes your training sentences can be long. So I'm just assuming that my training sentences I will not go beyond 20 words. Okay, that is a fixed value. You can always choose your own. If you are clear that your questions are just one word, you can use one also. But we just to make more generic, I'm using 20, so that even if a person asks a question with 20 words, it should be able to respond, figure out, and respond appropriately. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. And this particular stage, we are using what is called as tokenizer. See, when we are using this program, we are actually need to load these things here. As you can see here, TensorFlow, as I was discussing earlier, has this library called as tokenizer, which will tokenize and convert every sequence of words with its associated numbers. Okay, we are not writing it manually. We are using the libraries of NLP, and we are trying to do it automatically. And so this is what we are trying to. Let me run it once again and show it to you. Yeah. I hope you are all able to see this. Are you all able to? How many understood what is this? Okay, how many did not understood? Can you raise hand? Okay. By this time, actually, you should have understood if you have listened to it carefully. But anyways, I'll explain it once again. What does this mean is, each one is a training sentence. This is a training sentence which is converted into numbers. What is 10 meaning? There is what was the label associated for 10? Okay, 1 second. Okay, I did not print that. Let me print even the words so that you will understand. Okay, I have in the bottom, I guess. No. Okay, let me print the word index so that you will be also able to see that. Yeah. So now let us, so those who did not hear properly, once again, you can just listen to it. Okay. So each one is a training sentence. And as you can see here, there is a value called 10. What does it mean is, I have a word called hi. The 10 label has been assigned to the word hi. Okay. Since it's a one letter word, I need to pad with 19 zeros before it so that it will become a standard 20 size vector. And this is the 20 size vector. Okay. And the last value indicates what is the word which I have. Okay. Now say I'm 5 and 12 and 13. What does it mean? 5 means is. What is 12? 12 is anyone. What is the other number? 13, right? There. So is anyone there? You might have remembered this sentence was there in that intents file. So that particular sequence of words are being encoded in numbers and then converted into a standard 20 size vector, and that is happening here. So we are using this tokenizer to actually convert into a sequence of fixed size vector. All the sentences, all the sequence of words are converted into a fixed size vector. Okay, so now we got all the sentences in numbers. Now what is our job? We got numbers, we got labels, associated labels, numbers also. We got training underscore labels which are in the form of numbers. We also got the padded sequences which are also in the form of numbers. Now forget about chatbot, it's all about numbers. Neural network doesn't know actually you are working in chatbots or you're working with speech or you're working with vision. It only knows numbers, and it's a math actually. So now we have numbers, inputs, and its associated labels. Let us see how we can give it to the neural network. So we don't write the programs from the scratch. We use TensorFlow architecture to actually give inputs and the number of hidden layers, all those neural network terminology, which I'm considering here it as a black box. I'll explain that once we go to the CO4. Okay. So assume that you have a neural network with all the associated things. You will be giving input and you will be giving the output or the labels. Here both have been converted into numbers and you are going to train the system. Let us see how it happens. Till now you understood how we converted into numbers. So this is the lines which we use to build a what neural network. This sequential is part of TensorFlow. It actually is a part of Keras. So you have TensorFlow, you have Keras. These are all libraries for neural network and machine learning. Okay, we can write our own program also. It's not too tough, but it's very good too. And these are all open source, so you can even see the program of that particular TensorFlow, how they have written. So, but let us assume that you have now TensorFlow to build a neural network, and you now have the inputs and its associated labels. This has to be given to the neural network. So how do we give this? So first you need to build the architecture neural network. So a neural network, it looks something like this. I'll just show it to you, and later we can always go deeper into it. Students, I'm hoping that you are all able to see my OneNote. A simple neural network looks like this. Suppose, yeah. Students, you are not supposed to talk. So all these interconnections, I'm not drawing all, but all the interconnections. In the same way, you also have interconnections like this. All the different interconnections. Okay, and you have the final outputs here. What you get output is the class label. Okay, how it happens, all those things, there is a lot of theory which I'll explain to you, but you give input, this is input as a some dimensional feature vector. You give it as a, say here it is a 20 cross 1. Okay, and here you have 5 labels. So say you have a few more here, and this belongs to, it has to fall into one of these 5 labels. Okay, it's a simple classification task. So this is how it looks like, but you don't need to worry, that we will introduce once again later. Let us go back to the program and try to understand. Yeah, so what does this 16 means is, there are terminologies called activation functions, number of units, what kind of loss function you use, what type of optimizer you use. All those things are part of the neural network concepts, which I'll introduce in CIVO4. So assume that this is once again a black box. You use sparse categorical class entropy loss function, optimizer as SGD or Adam optimizer. All these things we will discuss. So what you need to do is, you need to give the input and its associated labels to the neural network. This is what is your job, right? So these padded sequences are the input, training labels are the outputs, epochs are number of times you have to train, iterations. Neural networks is trying to learn. Even when you try to learn, a small kid trying to learn alphabets, he'll try to repeat it so that it will train his mind. In the same way, the algorithm which works inside is also in the similar way. You need epochs, which is number of training, number of iterations you need to run. So you give the padded sequences, which are inputs, which are converted, training sentences, which are converted into a sequence of fixed size sequence of numbers. Here it is of 20 size vector. Okay, and you have training labels, which are also numbers. Okay, both are given, and you fit the model. When you are asking to fit the model, what it does, it gives both input and output, and it will learn its parameters. Okay, so it will, how it learns, we'll learn it later, but let us run this for 500 epochs, which means 500 times it will be running, and let us see how the response Okay, there is some error here. Let us see what is that. Model is not defined. So I haven't run this cell. So first let me run the model. Okay, now I have got model. So let me run the number of epochs. So let it run for 500 once again. One second, let me see what is this. No, I think we might have missed some or other line. So let us run it from the beginning once again. Okay. I think we missed some line here, which is, yeah, let me see some. Students, can you see in your file, is there any line at number 7 in this particular cell, which I've shared to you? Or is it empty? It's empty, right? Okay. Yeah, it's done. So this is how, now currently it is training for 500 epochs, which means 500 iterations. And so once it got trained, that means the model has learned the training sentences and its labels. That means it knows if you give this sentence, it belongs to this particular category. Okay. There are plenty of neural network engineering things which you need to understand, but as of now, consider it as a black box. So let us move forward. Now let us try to obtain the model so that you can use it during the training testing stage. Okay, if you run this, you get the model in Google Colab, and it will not save it in any folder. So what I'll do is this Google Colab, I'm just trying to show it to you for explanation purpose. Once again, I'll do the same task from my command line. I'll get this folder, chat underscore model. And after, once I get the chat model, we'll test the bot. Okay. So first, let us see whether is it the program working or is it able to generate the model or not. Take some time to get the model, and it will save in the Google Colab folder. So I hope you are all able to see this chat underscore model. I've just numbered it as 3, but yeah, it's up to you. So you also get this label underscore encoder dot pickle, tokenizer dot pickle. All these are needed for your chatbot to work. Okay. So this is through Google Colab. I'll run the same through a normal terminal so that I get this folder in my system so that we can work out, we can test the bot. Okay. I'll also show that how to do that. So yeah, give me a minute. Students, those who are there in online, are you all able to follow what I am saying? Students? Can someone reply from online if you're all able to follow what I am trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I almost kind of forgot that you are all there by seeing the students in the class. So it's somewhat little confusing, but anyways. So you can see these students, the same file, whatever is the script which I've shown to you, you need to be silent. Whatever script I've shown it to you, I've just kept it into a file, a Python file. Now I'll run this file from my terminal, which is doing the same thing as what I've shown it to you through Google Colab. Why am I doing this? Because it will generate the folders into the respective folder, okay, in which I would like to have it. So let me show it to you. This is just a GUI to show it. Now let me go to my, so I have my folder. Let me go to that folder. So CD chatbots. Okay, now I am in my chatbot folder. So I'm using this folder where the my actual script is. So I'll just go to that CD. I hope everyone knows terminal way of doing, right? We can run Python script through terminal or using a GUI, or you can do with the Google Colab. You can do it in any way. Okay, so I'm just going to my respective folders so that I can, yeah. So these are my files. I hope the font is visible. Students, the font is visible, the terminal font, or I hope it is visible. So there is this file called my underscore train.py. Okay. This is my Python script, whatever I've shown it to you through Google Colab. This script contains all the necessary things to train. So what I'll do is, just to have a different file name, I'll change the output file name so that we get a new file, new folder in the, so let me go to this program and change the output. So the model dot save, it is trying to save here, model dot save, right? I'll change it to say 3. Okay, so that I'll get a new file now. So I've just saved it. Now, so let me run this now. Yeah, how do we run programs in Python through terminal? Anyone? Python and give the file, right? So take Python and give the file name. Here my file name is my underscore train.py. So let me run this. Students, I hope you're all following this, those who are in online. If there is any issue, as you can see, the same thing is going on here. Number of epochs, all the 500, okay, there are 550 iterations. And there are some warnings, but okay. Now the training has done. Let us go to the respective folder and see it, how, what all you have. Okay. So I think we haven't changed the file name. Let me change it once again. Or it may take some time. Let us wait for some more time. What should be the output? We should get a chat underscore model underscore 3. That is what we expect, right? Yeah, let us see. Okay, I opened a different file which is in a different folder. I need to edit the right one. Give me a minute, I'll just open the right file. Desktop. To my train. Yeah, so this is where we have to change it to 3. Okay, so I have renamed it as chat_model_3. I've just ran a different file. So this is the right file because chatbot_keras-main_edit2 is the file. Okay, so let me now, since I've saved it, let me train the neural network once again. So let me go to my terminal. So this is a terminal. And let me run the file once again. Okay, I mean chatbot_keras-main_edit2. Let me run this. In the earlier, you can see these are the files which that folder contains. Okay, in the next stage, we'll see what files does it have. It need to have all those .pickle. Okay, all those files we need to have it. So let me type ls. You can see chat_model_3. So this is the this folder is the output. You might not be able to see as such, but it actually contains all the model related parameters. Okay, assume that it's still a black box to you. You get an output and you use these to run the chatbot. Okay, now we got this chat_model_3. Now let us go back to the testing stage. Now we got our model has trained. Now you give a new input. It has to take that. Once again, it has to do all these things, convert into numbers, pad it with zeros, make it a 20-dimensional vector, and give it to the neural network and try to find out what category it belongs to. Based on which category it belongs to, it has to pick one random response from that category. Okay, let us do that. So you have a different script here. So let me show it to you. What is that script? That script is called as chat.py. Students, are you all able to see this? Are you all able to see this? So there are a number of packages which we use. It kind of looks like it's still a black box. So what we need to load? We need to load chat_model_3. Okay, because that is what we got the output during the training stage. And we also need all this tokenizer.pickle, label_encoder.pickle. And how the program is running, let us try to understand here. So there is a user, there is a bot. Both are communicating with each other. Okay, bot will ask some question, which is an input to the system. It has to take that. Sorry, a user is asking a question, that is an input, and that input has to be brought in, process it, and convert into a 20-dimensional feature vector, give it to the neural network. It has to give the output. The output is a class, which means the label, the tags. It will identify the tag for the test input. Once it identified the test input tag, it will choose one random response. Let us see how this whole thing is happening in this simple code which is written here. Okay, let me little zoom out so that you can see the whole program here. So def, I hope everyone knows functions. So this is a function, and this function is being invoked here, chat. So once I invoke this, it will goes into it. It will first load the chat_model_3. It will also load tokenizer.pickle and label_encoder.pickle. Now this maximum length is 20 because we converted every sentence into a 20-dimensional vector. It will run this while loop, but this is an infinite loop. Okay, it will break only when you enter quit. That means the chatbot is always ready. Only when you quit, it will stop processing. Okay, until then it waits for the response from the user. So it starts this loop and it is asking, okay, this is a kind of it is printing that, okay, you can see the user. I'll just show it to you. It will show the user in blue color, and it will test if the user has entered quit. If he entered quit, it will come out of it. If he does not, if he did not enter quit, and if he enters some sentence, it will process it. So if it does not enter quit, so let it goes here. So what is happening here? This is only one line which is doing a lot of things. So let us understand carefully. You got an input here, okay? Where is the input? Yeah, in INP is equal to input. What is the input command in Python? It takes the input from the terminal, right? Whatever you have typed, it will take, it will wait, and once the user enters a text or something, it will take that and it will process it. That is what input does. So, and it is stored in a INP variable, okay? Input is stored in an INP variable, and this is given to tokenizer. Because once again, during the testing stage, it has to convert into that 20-dimensional vector. In order to convert that, we have first text to sequences, which are part of tokenizer, and we also pad the sequences so that we get the 20-dimensional, irrespective of the size, what user types, it would be converted into a 20x1 feature vector. And you will have model.predict. Model.fit was the command which we used there to train the thing. Model.predict. These are very common. Like if you're building neural network, you will be keep on using these two things, model.fit and model.predict. Model.predict will take the input without any labels and try to say which category it belongs to. Model.fit will train considering both the input and the labels. Okay. I hope everyone distinguishes these both the things. During the training stage, we have input and the labels which we give, and we ask the system to learn. And during the testing stage, we only give the test input, and we will make the system to give the relevant response or the output. Okay. So we are predicting it. What does it predict? It predicts one of the class with which we have trained earlier. So, okay. So you got a new sentence. This is being converted into a 20x1 feature vector. It is passed as an input to the already pre-trained neural network model, and you will get one of the tag as the output. Did you understand this sentence, or should I need to repeat once again? Should I repeat? Okay. I am hoping that you have understood it. Feel free. If you want me to repeat, I'll repeat a number of times, but okay. So what we are trying to do here is there is a training stage and a testing stage. In the training stage, we gave input and the associated labels. Just I've explained in the previous code, my_train.py. We converted every sentence into its corresponding numbers. We converted training sentences into a 20x1 vector, and we also have associated a number for the labels like greetings, goodbye, all those are labels, right? We assigned the labels, we gave it to the neural network, we ran it for 500 iterations, epochs, and the model got trained, and the model got saved in our folder, which is we named it as chat_model_3. Now we are taking this chat_model_3 as an input, and we are trying to give a test input to the chatbot, and it has to give the right category. After we get the category, we'll pick one of the responses which is there in the intents file and display it as an output. That is what is the thing. So now we predicted the model output. That means one of the class which it belongs to, the training sentences, the test input belongs to. Okay, we gave test input and we found out using this line, the model.predict will find out which category it belongs to among the 5 categories which I've shown in the intent file. Okay. Now, once you get the category, what is our job? It has to pick some random response. So open the intents file. We already have the intent file once again here. We are opening it. What should it do? It has to go to the response category. Responses. There was a responses, right, in intents file. It will go to the responses. It will take all the sentences and it will pick one of the sentences randomly. We can always fix a first sentence itself, but the bot looks more humanly if it gives a different response every time. Okay, so np.random.choice will generate a random number. It will pick a random sentence from the responses category, and that is being appended to chatbot. Okay, when I show the output in terminal, you will be able to appreciate this and you'll be able to connect to it. So let us run this and see whether the chatbot is working or not. Okay. So we have changed here chat underscore model underscore 3. Now let us go to our, okay, in which file is this? Okay, this is also wrong file. I need to open the right folder. Give me a minute. File open. I need to go to the right folder. It is chatbots, chatbot Keras, and you have chat.py. Open it and change the model to 3, chat underscore model underscore 3. Okay, we did it. And now our job is to run this. So go to terminal and run the script. Okay, we are all there in this folder, chatbot Keras main editor. Let us run this chat.py. You can see here it is already there in my folder, chat.py. Now I just need to run this so that you can interact in terminal just like any other chatbot. Okay, here we are just showing this way, but you can even deploy it into a web. Okay, after this, see, the whole content is taken from a tutorial. I'll share the link to you. It even explains how you can deploy it in a web page. Okay, you can using Flask. Okay, you can explore that also. So let me run first this. So once again, to run it, since it's a Python script, Python chat.py. Let us run it. So it started user. I hope you can see this. Let me kind of change the font size. Only when I close it, I can see it. Okay, let me, okay, first I'll show it to you. If it is not visible, I'll close it and I'll open once again and I'll show it to you. It does not take much time. So let us type hi. It is saying hello. So let us say, ask, who are you? We have only 5 sentences, but still let us ask. This is a sentence which I have fixed in that. It's not that bot. We get that humanly sensation, right? When it gives a response, as if like some human is trying to speak from the backside. Our job is to create that humanly experience. We should not feel that something hard-coded. Now, if I ask a different question, it might not be able to answer. Say, how are you? It's still saying the same answer because we did not brought in that category. So how are you is close to who are you. So it chosen the closest category and gave the response from that. So if you increase the intents file more and more, it will give you the response so good that it is almost like a humanly in nature. So, but making a general bot is very tough because how many conversations, how many aspects would you cover in intents file? It is not possible to make a generic bot. That is one of the kind of issue in bot, which is a kind of research issue. What methodology?
Sir,
yeah, what is the problem?
Sir, time up, sir. It's break.
Oh, it's break. Okay. So yeah, I hope you have understood how to make the bot. How many have understood the bot? Making bot. I'll share all the things. I'll share the tutorials, everything. I think, okay, how many did not understand the bot? What about others? How many have understood partially? Partially. No, you can raise hands. There are people who doesn't raise hands partially. Okay. I'll share all the materials. I hope you have understood the basics. Go through it, build your own bot, and by tomorrow, I want those who have chosen making bot as your project. I want a category in which you want to work. Making general bot is you can't cover all the intents. If you take a restaurant bot, what does a restaurant bot should do? It should ask about menu. It should need to take the orders, and it need to respond. The context is very limited, right? So you can design sentences so that it gives the right responses. So I want everyone to choose an area to build your bot. Use this as a baseline and build your bot. Okay. So let me take attendance and we'll wind up here. Ganga Mohan sir has asked me to take until 10 o'clock. So that is why I was taking it. Anyways, I'm stopping recording here. You can go through this recording.